This is the second part of Module 2, Lesson 3, where we're talking about reflections. This is in your workbook on page 31. It asks you to reflect this triangle, ABC, across this line here. We're not going to worry about figure D. We just want this one triangle. Notice, I've already reflected it for you. You could draw this on a piece of paper, fold it over this line L, and sketch it up here. And that's basically what I did. Your point A is now A prime. This is your pre-image. This is your image. Your point B is now B prime. Your point C is now C prime. See how A and A prime are about equal distance from the center of reflection? I'm sorry, the line of reflection. And C and C prime are about the same distance from this line of reflection. And B prime, same thing. The questions they ask you here is, which figure was not moved to a new location? It's point B. It's on the line of reflection, therefore it would not be moved. It stays where it is because it's on the line of reflection. This is page 32 in your workbook. What I've asked you to do is reflect this angle and just this line. Now, I didn't draw it with the straight edge. You should. If you reflect it over, notice A becomes A prime, and they're equal distance from this line of reflection. B becomes B prime. They're equal distance from the line of reflection. And C becomes C prime. They're also equal distance from the line of reflection. If I just simply reflect this over, if I draw it on a piece of paper and fold it along this line of reflection and it flips over here, it's obvious that the angle is going to be the same measure as it in the pre-image and in the image. How about the length of line segment IJ? Same situation. I prime, J prime will be the same length as this one because all you've done is flipped it over or reflected it over its line of reflection. Okay, those are the two questions that it asked down there. And then it asks you to reflect this figure over the line of reflections. It's on page 33. Think of this, guys. If you start with this pre-image, and here's E. E is a little bit above the line of reflection, so E prime is going to be a little bit below. F prime is a little bit more above the line of reflection, so it'll be a little more below when it is reflected. G prime is down here at the bottom, so when it's reflected, it's going to come up above the line of reflection to form G prime. Here's your pre-image. Here's your image after reflection. People get confused when they see the line of reflection through an image, but think about this, guys. This is nothing more than something like a skewer at a barbecue, and perhaps you've got a piece of a pepper on here, and you flip it over. That's nothing more than that. That's what you're looking at right there. And what if you're looking at all of these pieces that are reflected? And here's your line of reflection. This is on page 34 in your workbook. Now, I'm just taking out pieces of it. What's the measure of the reflection of angle ABC, or actually angle ABC? What is the measure of this? If this were your reflection, what would I know about these two angles? Angles don't change in a reflection, so those two would both be 150. Then it asks you about the length of line segment FH and IJ. Let's look at this. FH is 4 units long. Its reflection, which is over here, okay, would be the same length, 4 units long, right? How about I prime, J prime? Wouldn't that correspond to this segment here? Wouldn't that segment be 7 units, since this one's 7? If this angle's 28 degrees, wouldn't this one be 28 degrees since they're reflections of each other? If this one's 31 degrees, wouldn't this one be 31 degrees because they're reflections of each other? Whenever you reflect something, the angles don't change, nor do the side lengths. Okay? Now, that covers everything we're going to talk about on reflections. Next thing up is going to be translations.